so much for joining us in another edition of Inside Out. I am Damilola Busari. Well, health is wealth. It's a popular mantra we all grew up knowing. Most times once we hear that, we think about our physical bodies. We don't think about our minds. Here in Nigeria, mental illness, mental health is a topic that is shrewd with so much secrecy. Generally, we just believe you must be mad to have a mental illness. But there's more to mental health than just madness as we think. Today's edition is talking about depression. What is it? Why so much secrecy? Why are people afraid to talk about it? All of these and more will be answered on today's edition of the show. Once again, welcome. Thanks for joining us. To properly dissect this topic, I have Dr. Dakbo Adegbaju. He's from the Federal Neuropsychiatric Hospital, Yaba. A round of applause for him. Thank you. Seated next to him is the gorgeous Dr. Yewande Dikweolu. She's from Mentally Aware Nigeria Initiative. She's the Secretary General of that particular initiative. A round of applause for her. Thank you. Next, we have Mr. Babatunde Olatoye. Please, could we put our hands together for him? And of course, last but not the least, Mrs. Mojisola Atere. Another round of applause for her. We'll take a short break right now. Talking about depression, we went to the streets. We went to view the opinions of the ordinary Nigerian man. Let's hear what they have to say.
When you talk of depression, you will see someone that is earning, let me say, 100,000 naira monthly before this government came on board. Now, the person start earning like 25,000 naira. The basic needs of the family cannot be met anymore. Such a man or such a person or such an individual can go into thinking, which will lead to depression in this current economic meltdown.
I guess, yes, depression does exist. And it can happen or it happens because of several reasons. I don't know. But I would like to use a slight example of someone I think I know had a slight issue with his parents, and then he didn't have anyone to talk to. And so he just gradually went into his cage and just keep things to himself. But like I said, yes, depression does exist.
When we talk about depression, we're talking about when your morale is low, you're not happy at all, you understand? You just feel things are not working, you understand? Despite you try to put your best in a particular thing, but still it's not working. So for that reason, it will now somehow demoralize your spirit, bring your spirit down. You're not eager anymore, you're not spirited anymore, you're not encouraged anymore. So you are just discouraged about the situation.
That's something that makes somebody unhappy. And permanent, if you are happy permanently, definitely it can lead to depression.
Depressed, because you have to think to a particular aspect and looking for a solution and not seeing the solution at all. That's when you cannot tell me, yes, I am depressed.
Now, while we watched that, I saw lots of reactions from the audience. Some ahs, some laughter. So I'd like to hear one or two thoughts. When you think of depression, what comes to your mind? One or two thoughts from us here in the audience before I take it over to our panelists. Anybody wants to say? Okay.
Thank you. Depression is something we can never, ever escape in life because of various battles we face in life, challenges. But we become defeated by depression when we allow ourselves to be held down by depression, which fundamentally was caused by those battles trying to bring us down.
Sir.
Meditation.
Sorry to cut in, sir. You said something. You said we can't escape depression. So are you saying that somebody must experience this at one point in the other in their lives?
Certainly.
Certainly.
Yes.
Let's give him a round of applause.
All right, thank you very much. Depression is a very real issue in Africa, but the problem that we have here is that a lot of people think that, oh, Jesus is our therapist here. We have church, so why go to the therapist? Why do I have to see somebody? It's not like I'm crazy or something. But the thing is that a lot of people battle with these issues a lot of times. I've experienced a personal kind of issue like that where my aunt had depression for so long. Everybody just knows that she just withdrew into her own shell and couldn't do anything. And when we finally saw a doctor, which took years, that was like 3 years after everybody said that, okay, this is a persistent problem, we have to do something about it. The doctor was like, depression is very hard to treat because it is not a wound on the body that you can treat. This is something that goes on inside of your mind. And our body is a reflection of our minds. When you're happy, people can see it. And you ever say, oh, you're looking nice. But when there's something wrong with the way you are thinking, it also reflects. The moment we realize this in Africa, the better for all of us. Because a lot of us just think that, oh, she's sad. When they pray for her, she'll get better. When she gets money. No, there are people that have money, they have everything, and they're still not happy. They're still not fulfilled. They still feel depressed for one reason or the other. So it goes beyond the issues that come with life. Yes, life comes with these challenges. It does not mean that people go into depression because of that. No, it is as a result, it's a state of mind. It's like a sickness, just the same way we treat malaria. It's a sickness also that needs to be treated, that needs attention. Thank you very much.
I think I'll invite you to the panel after a while. Sorry, but we'll have to go on back and forth, we'll interact. Now, quite some things I want us to address here. I'll start with you, Dr. Adegbaju. While we watched that, we heard thinking, overthinking, and they are just thinking and thinking and thinking, and before you know it, it's depression. Is that, a right view of what depression is? When you think and you overthink, you become depressed. Is that how it happens?
Well, thank you. Not really. I think there's a sort of misconception here. People usually associate depression with being sad. If you check the dictionary, people are used to the dictionary meaning. If you check the dictionary, you will see a state of being sad. But depression, medical depression, goes more than that. It goes beyond just being sad. There are several factors, there are several things you look out for. Apart from being sad, there's also the issue of lack of energy. The person does not have energy to do anything. That's what people will now say as being withdrawn, not able to do anything.
Okay.
Then there's also the loss of interest in previously pleasurable activities. Things you used to enjoy before becomes nothing to you again. That's when people will start taking notes. Those are the 3 cardinal signs of depression. Apart from the other ones that people will now see on the long run, like not eating well, waking up early more than usual, losing weight, their personal hygiene suddenly declines. Those are the little things people see. Then there is also the issue of severity. Because there is what we call mild, moderate, and severe depression.
So it's like in different grades, so
yes.
to say. Okay.
Now, the mild ones are the ones people usually say as being unhappy, and then after counseling, they snap out of it.
Can we think that's maybe a mood swing kind of thing?
Something like that.
Okay.
Which can happen to everybody at times. We all experience, there are days
So, sorry to cut in. Can we then say, like he said earlier on, that means some way, somehow, everybody's bound to suffer from depression at some point in time? Okay.
I would like to make I would not like it to take it that way.
Okay.
You are entitled to being sad as a human being. It's different from being depressed. There are 2 different things here. Now, you have a right to be sad. Things can make you sad. Bad news can make you sad. Psychosocial events can make you sad. Losing your money in the Ponzi scheme those are little that can make people sad.
Yeah.
Everybody's entitled to it, but
Okay.
depression goes beyond that.
Okay.
That's why it's usually graded. There's the mild form, which ordinary counseling will make people snap out of it.
Okay.
There's the moderate form, which you may have to combine using psychotherapy now. That means seeing a psychologist. It could also mean you also using some medications. Then there is a severe form. Apart from being severe, there's what we call the psychotic component. That's when people start hearing strange voices talking to them.
So depression can lead to that?
Yeah. And can also lead to suicide. That's the most severe form.
Okay, before we get into depression leading into suicide. Now, Dr. Dipeolu, you've been on the field. You've tried to get the word out that there's depression. What has the reception been like? Once you go out and say, be aware of your mental health, what's people's reaction like?
Well, the general reaction has been the typical African reaction that, oh, mental illnesses are Oimbo problems. That it's only people that have eaten well that can come and say they are depressed. And then some will tell you, oh, it's spiritual problem, it's demonic possession, it's the sin from the father's father to the mother's mother, ancestral causes that are causing him. And the problem with these things have been passed down from generation to generation. I'm sure when we were kids, we had that neighbor that they say, oh, Osenwe, he used to hear voices, he used to see things. But he was suffering from a mental illness and nobody knew how to help him. Everybody just stayed away from him. So we've all had ways we've stigmatized people and stuff. But the problem with stigma is, the reason why you stigmatize something is either you fear it or you don't understand it. You know, okay, this guy might be suffering from
So when you get closer
illness.
to people, do they finally accept that fact? That they might be suffering from depression, or did they just still brush it aside?
Some of them brush it aside. Most of them brush it aside and tell you, oh, no, there's no way I can have it. I reject it in Jesus' name. But the thing is, you can't treat what you haven't accepted.
Can I make that connection then, that somewhat we're afraid of the outcome, so we don't accept that it's a possibility?
Yes.
All right, now we have a little twist to all of this. I have there on our panel, Mr. Olatoye. He has a story to share with us. He suffered depression at some point, but thankfully he's out of it now. Could you please lead us through your journey, sir?
Okay, thank you. Yeah, at first I didn't even know it was depression. I come from a broken home. As a child, I used to miss my dad, and my mom, the little time that I spent at home, my mom was not friendly. She's this kind of person that if you make little mistakes, she will kick you and all that, and I used to feel...
So there was some form of child abuse as well?
Yeah. She would beat you like a soldier. She had this military, because she actually grew up in a barrack, she had this military form of dealing with issues and all that. We're not close.
At what point did you realize that this was tending towards depression?
Yeah, I didn't know until I was 33.
Wow.
Yeah, I suffered it for a very long time. I didn't know until I was 33. I just got to know later, so I now trace it back to the beginning. And at some point when I was in secondary school, I attempted suicide. But I didn't know, I was just doing my thing, and I didn't know what was responsible for that action and all that. But I noticed that I used to keep man lists a lot. I used to withdraw a lot, and if you offend me, I won't talk to you. I'll stay away from you and all that. I used to do that a lot. And thank God, that was when I came across Mrs. Adekoya.
Okay, I was about to ask about the ray of hope.
Yeah.
Because you're alive and standing here today.
Yeah. Because then I hated all the women in the world. So.
Dr. Dipeolu, when it comes to seeking help, why do people always shrink back?
Okay, I think for help-seeking behavior, the first reason is stigma. They don't want people around them to go, oh, this lady has depression. Oh, the reason why she acted out at work yesterday wasn't because her coworker annoyed her, it's because she's mad. Do you get? So nobody wants
tag of madness.
No, that tag of madness. Nobody wants that tag of madness. And then also the belief that depression or mental illness is only happen to people who are not strong enough. In Nigeria, in Africa as a whole, we feel mental illnesses are for weak-minded people, people who are not strong, and you don't want to appear like you're not strong. So after all, you fake it till you make it, right?
Now, Mrs. Atera, you have, would I say, given spiritual help to some people that have suffered from depression. I remember at the very beginning, we had, that we think we just pray it away. But you have some testimonies of people that you have given spiritual help to and have suffered from depression and are now out of it. Am I right, ma'am?
Yes, please.
Okay, please, could you share that with us?
Okay. I had a counselee who had depression. What I noticed at first, she's not my first, so I had the experience. I know what to look out for when you're talking about depression. So on this particular lady was always sitting at the mall, the shopping mall. So anytime you pass by her, She wasn't aggressive, but she was withdrawn. She didn't want to talk to anybody. She doesn't want to relate with anybody. She just wants to be on her own, left alone. So there was this particular occasion. People were coming from the mall. They were running, and a lot of people were coming. There was a particular program. So they were going there to buy bottles of water. So as that man was coming out, he mistakenly stepped on her toes. That was what triggered the problem. Then I heard her, she was annoyed. She said, man, I don't want to see you. I hate you. I did this. Then she started talking, and she was annoyed and she was aggressive. Then I moved closer, and I now asked her, sis, can I have a word with you? She said, leave me, if it's the man, I don't want to see them. I don't. So I left. I left her at that point. The second day I came back, she was still sitting there. She had gone, but she was there again.
Back again.
So I now went to her. I said, sis, yesterday I saw you. You were annoyed with that man. What happened? Do you know him from anywhere? Then she said, men, hey, if you see them and you don't run, then there is problem. I knew something was amiss. So I spoke with her. Then I asked her, are you ready to share with somebody? Do you want somebody you can talk to? If you will listen. Okay.
So she was actually willing eventually?
Yeah, at first she was reluctant. She didn't want to say it.
Okay.
But maybe the way I approached her, the friendliness and all the stuff, she decided to open up.
So by the time she opened up to you and she told you what she was going through, how she got there, how did you address the issue?
We started praying. I was always visiting her, then I became her friend. I became closer to her. But anytime we want to talk, I always make sure there is nobody around listening to us.
Okay.
So we'll sit in the auditorium alone. There will be lots of people there, but we'll go to a secluded area where both of us, we have time together. So we were discussing, she will tell me this. Even what she couldn't tell her parents, the mother, she told me
so
how it all started.
Prayers
then
and counseling?
we were counseling, we were praying, we became friends, and then she became attached to me. She always wanted to tell me everything. So we were praying together, we were fasting together. Then, after then, I knew she was becoming balanced.
About how long did this take?
It took us about 6 months.
About 6 months of prayers and counseling.
Counseling and being friendly with her and talking to her.
I can see a smile on Dr. Adegbaju's face. And I've seen him do like this and like this and like this and like this. We're seeking help for people that have said, okay, yes, I'm trying to find help. She has told us, there was a series of prayer and counseling. I'd like to hear what you think.
Yeah, people, like my doctor friends here said, people run away from stigma. For example, I work at the Federal Neuropsychiatric Hospital, Yaba. Even we are stigmatized. That's the truth.
Okay.
But you see, we've gone beyond that. You see, in the Nigerian context, people are ready to live with hypertension. They're ready to say they're diabetic. Even AIDS is now something you are so proud of. But nobody wants to live with mental illness. That is the truth. Unfortunately, it can happen to anybody, including me talking to you. So it's not a matter of you're a doctor, you're this, you're that. It just needs you to reach your breaking point. And the person breaks down.
Once that person has reached that breaking point, how do you come back? There has to be recovery.
Exactly. Now, that is why, while I was talking earlier, I said there are different grades of depression. There's the mild, there's moderate, and there's severe. Severe now has without psychosis, or with psychosis, or with suicidal ideations or attempts. Now, without belittling anybody, the counseling will help. Do you know why? A problem shared is a problem solved at times. You see, when people unburden their mind, it lightens them up. That's the truth. But there are some people, they need treatment. It's not just talking therapy alone now.
You're talking about popping pills and medication now.
Exactly. Especially for a person who has like moderate to severe form. Some will even go beyond even just taking the pills. Some will even go through a special kind of treatment we call electroconvulsive therapy. That is just, it's just like putting electric shock on somebody. It's just to make the person to be back on track.
Assuming it's a mild case, for instance.
Yeah.
Counseling, prayers, can that sort it out?
It can.
Okay.
It can.
A severe case?
A severe case, no. It's not likely. Because it has gone beyond just unburdening your mind. It has gone beyond, it could even have gone to the level of psychosis. Psychosis simply means you start hearing voices commanding you.
Okay, so the actual madness we identify.
So you see.
Oh, so I see. You have taught us that today. Okay. I can hear some people agreeing with you and some not agreeing with you. So I'd like to take one or two comments from the audience at this point.
The issue of depression, I can say, has really escalated over time. And if we need to make this a collective effort, I believe that everyone should be involved. Let's be our brother's keeper. Let's look at when somebody is not cheerful, find out what's happening. Let's leave our selfish tendencies and reach out. I tell people that you can decide to be selfish, but it's a wrong choice. Okay. Let's learn to be liberal. Let's reach out. Let's go out. Let's find out why people are having particular mood swings, when they're withdrawn. I think if we want to be our brother's keeper, it will help to keep depression away from us. Thank you.
I'll take one more comment. Okay, let's calm down. Being our brother's keeper, right?
My name is Aziz. I just want to ask a question.
Oh, okay.
That how can someone help someone that is in depression?
Okay, let's throw that to the panel. Dr. Adegbaju, Dr. Dikweolu, how would you advise we give help to someone, anyone actually? How do you advise we give help to someone?
I will advise that once you see anybody who is going out of our usual way of behavior, I mean, we should try to convince the person to come out. If the person does not want to see a psychiatrist, like I usually say, because of the stigma people attach to it, you can take the person to go and see a doctor.
I'm definitely sure.
I just want to add something real quick.
Okay.
Most of the problems that they have is that they feel they don't have anybody to talk to.
Nobody can understand what I'm going through?
Nobody understands. We are mentally aware. We have a talk line, what we call a chat line. You just call and talk. Most of the time, when you talk to these people, you find out that they have so much to say. And in the end, you may not even have to say anything to them. Just let them talk. And you may be there for an hour, 2 hours talking. Get her to trust you. Get those people to let them know that you're going to be there for them regardless, and that you're not going to judge them for what they're going through.
Okay.
And then when they trust you enough, they would accept your advice to go and see a psychiatrist. Because, oh, this person has helped me through this, and he's advising I should do this. Oh, maybe it might be helpful also.
All right, so, Mrs. Atara, in 10 seconds, how can we give help to someone suffering from depression?
She said, gain the confidence of that person first. Be a friend to that person and lead the person to Christ. Tell her or him that with God, all things are possible.
All right. I'm so sorry we're out of time. I've seen my producer signal to me once or twice. Thank you all so much. This definitely is not the end of the discussion. The discussion continues via our social media platforms, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram. Please get the word out. Our mental health is something we must pay attention to. If you're not fine up here, you definitely can't function and properly in the society. Thanks a lot for being a part of today's episode of Inside Out. My name is Damilola Busari. Until I come your way next week, same station, same time, it's still Inside Out, where we touch lives and change society. Bye for now.